perfectguitar.com.
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 All right, Perfect Guitar Podcast 08. Here we are at the home of Breedlove Guitars in sunny Central Oregon. We're about to go inside the factory and check it out. Hope you guys enjoy the tour. Welcome to the machine shop. Matt Slothauer's design space, typical CAD workstations. We do a lot of prototyping. We go through a lot of iterations. For our double F mandolin, for example, we went through 88 iterations until we got it right. We cut a lot of wood trying to make sure that that thing was exactly the way Kim Breedlove had designed the first one. That is to say, we reverse engineer a lot of our product. We'll make a hand-carved master, and then we'll try to teach the machines how to do exactly what we've done by hand. Well, come on to the machine shop. We'll show you the Fidal machines. We've started the neck over in the wood shop. We've bandsawed it out. We've got some of the geometry defined as far as the heel angle, the peg head veneer, the nut slot, all the basic elements of the Breedlove bolt-on neck design, and then we'll put it on the machine for a little bit of carving, but there's still a lot of handwork to be done after it comes off the machine. This allows us to have a high degree of flexibility in the customization of building your Breedlove guitar. We can add all different types of appointments onto the neck and the barrel of the instrument, different inlay patterns, and after the fingerboard is going to be glued on, we're still going to go and hand carve it. So say for example you want a D-shaped neck or a V-shaped neck, we can still do that for you. We can offer you narrower or wider nut widths. Over on one of our other CNC machines, we're carving some mandolin backs. Now this is how they start out. It's a slab of figured maple. First we're going to carve the inside of the back out, and then we're going to flip the plate over and carve the outside. And again, this is just a starting point. We leave a little bit of material to be removed by hand at the end of the process by the luthiers so that we can tune the plate, so we can emphasize certain tonalities that we want to bring out, because every piece of wood is different. This is the raw wood inventory and staging area. We've got all the parts for making Breedlove acoustic and electric guitars coming in here to this area. After the tone woods that we've brought into shop have acclimated to our shop environment, after they're completely stabilized and ready for construction, we finally join them up, run them through our wide belt thickness sander, and you can see the very beautiful book match here, the perfect symmetry or near perfect symmetry across the center glue line of the instrument. The top wood is really contributing a large percentage of the tonality of the instrument, especially on an acoustic guitar. You're maybe looking at, I don't know, 60, 80% of the tone of the instrument comes from the selection of the top. This is where we do all the bending of the sides for all the Breedlove guitars. Here's a zero cote set of sides as they start out. All the woods we use here are completely solid pieces, and from this thin little sheet we're actually going to form the sides to the shape of a guitar. We're using these called Fox benders. They're basically like little light bulb powered ovens. We've got a little switch here. We turn the light bulbs on for 10 or 15 minutes. Believe it or not, it's going to heat this stainless steel up to about 230, 250 degrees. We're then going to slide the moist guitar sides into the stainless steel platens, crank it down in the waist, and by hand we'll form the guitar sides to the shape of the guitar. Then we're going to cook the sides for about 5 to 10, 12 minutes depending on the species of wood, and let it cure down to room temperature over the next course of an hour. When the sides come out of the bender, they literally are the shape of a guitar side. We'll trim the sides to length and glue them up in what are called blocking molds. This is where we put in the structural elements of the head block and the tail block, and it's going to sort of provide the structural backbone for the guitar. Here we have an assembled neck. This one has its ivoroid fingerboard binding and its inlays already into the fingerboard. The production inlay patterns, the stuff that we do on a real regular basis, we'll have machined ahead of time so we can put the inlays into the pockets prior to assembly. Any sort of custom work, all the hand-cut inlay, Kim Breedlove and Angela Adams, our inlay artists, they still do a ton of hand-cut inlays, and those patterns will be put in after the board is completely radiused in the final assembly. We're just starting into the body department. This is where the rim assemblies are going to be assembled into the boxes of the instrument. Then they're going to be bound and sanded out, ready for finishing. What you see here is what's called the kerf lining. We make this lining material out of a wood called Spanish cedar, which has been kerfed. The saw has cut a bunch of air into it to allow it to be flexible enough to conform to the shape of the guitar. Here we've got our brace top and our brace back in the press, and Jake is putting the guitar together literally as we speak. It's really important that we keep all the center lines in perfect alignment And he's done such a good job cutting the mortises tight that the top and back are just aligned perfectly without having to do any sort of messing around. Now he's going to apply another layer of glue to the top of the instrument rim, and then he's going to put the top on, and we're going to press the whole assembly together in this giant old steel press that we manufactured years and years ago. Every single Breedlove guitar that's ever been built has come in and out of this press. So you can kind of see we're a real small shop, and we do it this way. Going to wet the guitar out to raise the grain, and this is going to give you an idea of what the figuration is going to look like once it's under lacquer. It also provides him an opportunity to look for any errant glue balls or anything that's not quite right with the aesthetic of the instrument. Well, that's stunning stuff. After the guitars are sealed and prepared for lacquer spraying, we'll put them on handles here and put them onto these rolling racks that we can take into our automotive paint spray booth for the lacquer application. This is our automotive paint spray booth, where we're using state-of-the-art Kremlin spray guns to apply the lacquer to our necks. We put about 16 individual thin coats of lacquer on. By putting on a lot of thin coats, that's the only way you're going to get a really true dead flat mirror gloss finish. It takes a lot of time, but it's worth it in the end result. I hope you can appreciate that. Our guy's doing the final rub out of a guitar, which has had all of its 16 different lacquer applications. It's 4 spray days. And Craig is sanding this out with 800 grit, then 1200 grit, and then about 2000 grit sandpaper before we take the guitar over to our pedestal buffers and shine it up to its mirror finish. We got our man Jason Hardesty doing final gloss buffing of one of our acoustic guitar bodies. You can see the speed and efficiency that he works with, but also the attention to detail he's putting into every little part of the guitar to make sure that the entire guitar is as glossy as any other part. Our custom shop instruments are all made to order. Every single one's unique. And the neck and body are sort of like an arranged marriage where the bride and groom were destined for one another, but they don't get to meet until the final assembly happens. After we've painstakingly added all those layers of finish, all the finish application has been leveled and rubbed out, now the guitars are finally ready to be married together in perpetuity. So our final assembly process is a 3-day process. What you see here is Jesse Christensen's hand pounding the frets on a fingerboard that he's prepared for fretting. We use kind of a hybrid technique here where we use the hammer and a pounding arbor that we developed in-house that distributes the pressure of the hammer blows evenly across the fret wire. It prevents us from hammering little flat spots into the frets, which is a typical problem for hand installation. It's sort of a hybrid method, but somewhere between hand pounding and fret pressing. But this does a really good job. We've gotten really consistent results with this and provides really accurate fretwork. On our final day of our 3-day string-up process, we've got Travis Derryberry here doing the final tune-up. We do all the action adjustment on the 3rd day. After the guitar is strung up on its 2nd day, it has a hang-in or break-in period in which it's going to adjust to the tension on the body. So we let it hang around for a while and get adjusted and used to its new tension and its new pressure before we do all the final adjustments to the nut and the saddle, adjust all the action, check for high frets, check for any buzzes, check for any erroneous noises, and make sure that it's going to play and that the setup is every bit as good as we can make it before we send it out the door. A final cleanup, a little bit of buffing maybe to eliminate any scratches that we might have put in during the final assembly process, and this guitar is going to go off for final inspection before it's cased up in our special boxes and cases and shipped off to our worldwide dealership network.
PerfectGuitar.com.
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 PerfectGuitar.com.